Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. This movie has been out for a couple months now and it's been wildly popular and I'm not really one to watch things like this, but all of my students and my nephews and nieces and my daughter now is like wanting to watch this movie. And so I ended up watching it um just in parts a few times while they have been like looking at it online or on Netflix. And I realized like, wow, this is such a great way to see how spirituality is infused into our culture now in this present day. And it just made me so excited to see, these universal themes um, done in a very, I want to say unique because it has been done before in many different ways, but in a new way for this generation to be exposed to and have access to. I was, kind of thinking about the very end of the movie where, throughout the movie, the main character, Rumi, who is part demon, part human, is, know, wrestling back and forth with her identity of who she is and not wanting to accept and she's been conditioned to believe that she is somehow broken or not worthy and needs to hide who she is and have shame and guilt and all this suffering um, to the point where it becomes unbearable, to the point where um, she's working very much in the masculine and in the physical realm of I need to um, get rid of that. And, her demon side is really symbolic of our ego that comes from within, the saboteur voice, the demon, the devil, whatever you want to call it. And it's really a symbol of our shadows. And throughout the movie, they show her like kind of wrestling with this, and her and the other character, Jinu, same thing, wrestling with, the past, the maybe choices and traumatic experiences that they've experienced that um, are still resonating within their energetic bodies and holding on to that denseness and those blocks of what they experienced. And so by the end of the movie, they are performing on stage. She, they the demons like kind of trick her into thinking that they're the backup, her friends singing with along with her, and then they kind of um they tear off parts of her outfit and reveal like she's part demon to everyone. And at this point of defeat and rock bottom, it seems like she wants to run and hide away, but it seems as if like the um the demons are taking over now, right? Hell seemingly is like breaking loose onto the earth and taking over. And it's interesting because the Han Moon, which they're talking about throughout the movie, and I looked up what does Han Moon mean in Korean, and it means it's like the barrier between the living and the spiritual world. And I think there was another meaning for it, but that's essentially what it was, like soul, like the soul gate. And it's interesting how as soon as she is being revealed as who she truly is, right? With all her demon marks, her as her true authentic self is really, when the Han moon breaks, is really a symbol of her um accepting all that she is, shadows and flaws and all. And when that barrier breaks, there's unity again, within her spirit because she's no longer compartmentalizing and neglecting and pushing away aspects of her. She's, in this union of self and thus having divine union with self because ultimately what happens is she recognizes that those shadows, those falsehoods are illusions and they're not the truth of who she truly is and who we all truly are um in from a higher perspective, right? When we have that awakening and that realization that we are one with all that is and that we are part of the divine. And so it's interesting because at the end she sings the song of it's called What It Sounds Like, and the lyrics in the song say nothing but the truth now, nothing but the proof of what I am, the worst of what I came from, patterns I'm ashamed of, things that even I don't understand. I tried to fix it, I tried to fight it. My head was twisted, my heart divided, my lies all collided. I don't know why I didn't trust you to be on my side. And so, all these lyrics are pointing to the distrust that we wrestle in within ourselves when we are not able to honor all aspects of us. We're so conditioned to believe that only the good, nice, well-behaved parts of us should be accepted, and we should hide away and push away and be ashamed of the aspects of us that are bad, right? Um, and so, that we're made and conditioned to believe to put on this performance and this falsehood of who we truly are. When really what we truly are is all facets of those things, right? The full spectrum of emotions and feelings and experiences that humanity experiences is who we are, is what makes up who we are. And we are all that is. So whenever we try to pick and choose and block out parts of us, it leads to this illusion state of who we truly are. And we're no longer operating from our authenticity. We're no longer operating from our power. And so when she has this realization and starts speaking and singing, the whole time throughout the movie, she's a singer and wanting to be on stage in the spotlight, and her voice is, going out, and she can't understand why, and she's blaming it all on the shadow aspect of herself as part demon, and really all it was asking for was to accept all of who she is. And so by the end of the movie, when she is revealed, um, the shame can truly be released and alchemized because she's no longer blocking it, right? So um she realized, and she says in the song, in the lyrics, these scars are part of me, darkness and harmony, right? My voice without the lies, this is what it sounds like. And this is the resonance of truth, of authenticity, of that state that you reach when you realize who you truly are. And that reverberates out into the world. That is magnetic. That is what shifts the field and recalibrates um, our life here on earth. And, as she's singing, you see the transformation, right? Um, Within herself, which then translates into the audience where the sound reverberates out and activates their heart centers. You see their heart centers activating, they start toning, and then they all are singing in this harmony, representing divine union, representing unity consciousness, where we're all connected as one. And it's just a beautiful way of like illustrating it. And I thought, I really wanted to create a video on this because I hadn't really heard much about people talking about this. So, continue with the lyrics. She said, "Show me what's underneath, I'll find your harmony." And, you know, because I'm also a sound healer and, all this ancient wisdom in, sound as alternative healing, as healing medicine, and something that helps recalibrate our energetic bodies and our, just reharmonizing ourselves at a cellular level with sound is reflected in this movie, which I thought was so cool. Um, and then it says the song we couldn't write, this is what it sounds like. And they could never write it because they were never really true with who they were. Um, and it says we're shattering the silence, we're rising defiant. And it's interesting how when we operate from our true authenticity, past all the illusions, past all the falsehoods, it's seen as this act of defiance because we're so conditioned to be good, to follow the rules, to not ruffle any feathers, and sacrifice our own self and authenticity in complying with those rules and standards that our parents and society and just this outwardly human experience expects of us. And the song goes on to say, we listen to the demons, we let them get between us, but none of us are out here on our own. So we were cowards, so we were liars, so we're not heroes, we're still survivors. So it's saying, like the demons, the ego, the falsehood of um this illusion of we are separate, we are not one, um, has made us judge each other, right? Has made us have shame from one another and for one another. And when we can release that and go back to the universal unity consciousness of who we truly are, that dissolves, right? Um, and she's saying but none of us are out here on our own. We're never truly alone because we are one, right? We are one. And she says, we broke into a million pieces and we can't go back. But now we're seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. And again, when a lot of the times when you hit this rock bottom place where you um, seemingly are in the pit of this valley of darkness, is when a lot of people become awakened, is because there's nothing else to hold on to. Um, and you must surrender, right? And so in that surrendering, you find um, that it's hard to explain. You find you release the control of having to control all these aspects of your life and your identity and who you are and how you show up as, and then so you get this access point where you can truly receive. Um, and that then catapults into this or catalyzes this, this awakening moment. And in the movie, after she sings this, her friends start harmonizing with her. And the three of them represent like this. It's almost like, they show them singing together, and then eventually like they change their attire and they're all dressed in white, symbolizing like purity, divinity, and then they like ascend into the sky as the audience is also singing, and their shows their hearts being activated by their harmony together, just again symbolizing this divine union with their eternal true selves, and also the self that is one with everyone, with this unity consciousness. And so it's just it's just awesome. I loved it. And then yeah, it goes on to say like fearless and undefined. Like when you operate from this truth, you become fearless. You can't become unshakable because you understand that you are eternal, right? And that you don't have to fit in a box, undefined. You are the creator, the I am. You can be and create and do anything you want. And so let's see, it says, truth after all this time, our voices all combined, again, symbolizing that unity consciousness. Um, when darkness meets the light, this is what it sounds like. And again, when our shadows can be illuminated by the light and the wholeness of who we truly are, we can hold all aspects of that as one. we recognize the truth of who we are in that, um, and see that we are not separate from that. We have this divine union. And I also thought it was very interesting. I noticed that the main girl's name is Rumi, who is a Sufi poet, right? Rumi is a Sufi poet who wrote poetry about these spiritual concepts and ideas and universal truths like unity consciousness, right? Universal love, divine union. And it's all here in the movie as well. And yeah, I don't know if if this resonates, if anybody noticed this too, like I'd love to hear your comments down below. I just thought it was really fun and interesting to see it in such a new movie um and I kind of enjoy the movie along with everyone else watching it, but seeing it from maybe not the lens that they were seeing it through, but through my own like spiritual lens. Um And there was another song, I think that was the song that really resonated for me, at the one at the very end. And also, just the Golden song because it was like, let's see. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, it was, oh yeah, this is the one. It's like shining. Like, I'm shining, shining like I'm born to be. We're dreaming hard. We came so far now, I believe. And it's and we're going up, up, up. It's our moment. We know, together we're glowing. Gonna be golden. Up, up, up with our voices. I'm done hiding. Now I'm shining like I'm born to be. That's the true nature of our soul, of who we are. It's like we are meant to shine our light. We are meant to be free. We are meant to um have no fears, no lies, which is also in the song. That and it literally says that's who we're born to be, right? Break these walls down, wake up and feel like me, put these patterns all in the past now. And those patterns are our old conditioned beliefs of how we that are, dictating how we're operating in this world. And that could lead to this performance of self um and so they're saying, we're not hiding anymore, we're shining, we're going to be our true authentic selves. And it's interesting how they released this single like earlier on, but the main character Rumi was still hiding like that's part of herself. And it's funny how this operates in the world today, how people might be saying something but not truly um operating it from it in an embodied state. And so it's almost like she was saying it's almost like a mantra, like, I'm not hiding, I'm shining like I'm born to be, we're strong, I believe. And then something happens, just like it does in life, where God places an event in our life to kind of open up this portal of, oh, are you really what you say you are? Right? She's choosing that she's showing up, that she's being that she's shining her light. But then God makes this devastating thing happen where they strip her of all her of some of her clothes and her markings show, and she's revealed, and she almost feels defeated and devastated and shamed, right? But then, even though that seems like a rock bottom, that's a portal, then an activation, a choice to walk through this threshold, this divine threshold of deepening into that embodiment of what she says she is. Are you really golden? Are you really going to shine like the light you're going to be? Are you really going to have no fear? Well, let's see if you can with this, right? And then she's given that event. And then she does. She ultimately chooses that. And then that is what heals. That is what is made whole again. That is what leads to that higher level of consciousness, that ascendance that happens at the end. And so it's just, this interesting path of character development and seeing this and just a symbol of what happens throughout our own lives when we're facing our shadows, when we're having realizations, revelations, and facing these fears, right? Let's see. And Another lyric I thought was super interesting was like, I lived two lives, tried to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Called a problem child because I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid on stage. And it's so true. It's like, again, we are conditioned to operate other than our true authentic selves sometimes when we are just being who we are, wild and free as children, and this, but we're told to comply, perform, fit in this box, and we're shamed for certain gifts and things that we might have early on. And if we're lucky later on, we realize those gifts again, and we realize, oh my gosh, those that resonated with me so much because I realized my sensitivity growing up was shamed so much, and I was made to feel so weird about it and so shameful. And I tried to like fit this mold of how I should be. And I was also a problem child, or the dark sheep of the family. But now that same sensitivity, that same different way of thinking, that same rebellious attitude is what gets me paid, is what people see me for as my expertise now. And it's just so true. Um, and yeah, let's see, it's all in there. And then I think there's one more. Yeah, that song just goes on. But there was one more song. Let me see. There's a lot of like all a lot of the songs kind of resonate, but there was another one. It was Your Idol. That was the one that the Saja Boys were singing, and it's interesting how they're like the demons. And the song is called Your Idol. And it's the lyrics again are so interesting because it's like keeping you checked, keeping you obsessed, play me on repeat in your head. Anytime it hurts, play another verse. I can be your sanctuary. And it's just this like, people call it the devil, or I see it as like the ego, the shadow, the saboteur is like um keeping you in the mental loop, in the mental plane of past hurts, past traumas, past old patterned beliefs that are keeping you stuck. And in the movie, the demons who are essentially um, operating from this mission is to keep people in that loop of lack, of illusion, of separateness, of guilt, shame, right? So that separateness is what is creating the darkness to prevail. And the more they can, you see throughout the movie them infiltrating the mind and whispering all of these um, thoughts into their head about why they're bad, or why they should be guilty, or why they should be ashamed, or why nobody will love them. And it's very realistic to what happens in life, right? Is we have those moments of doubt, of distrust, of shame, either self-imposed, ultimately taught to us. Um, and we almost like play that in a mental loop in our brain and identify with that. And not wanting to admit those things is what keeps us stuck, which then again leads again to that disillusionment, to that disconnection, separateness that is the opposite of the truth of who we are, which is oneness, unity, universal love, and pure acceptance, right? And so, um, and when you think about it, the demons, right, they're operating on this place of keeping this illusionment going by whispering all these doubts in people's minds and hearts. And the sin that they talk about, sin in Hebrew is misalignment. And and that misalignment represents not living within your divine alignment of knowing who you truly are at a soul level, as one with the creator, one with God, one with the divine, one with everyone and everything. And yeah, it says anytime it hurts, play another verse. Um, you gave me your heart, and I'm here for your soul. feel the way my voice gets under your sins. I'm the only one who will love your sins. So again, making it seem like you will not be accepted for owning and revealing your mistakes and your um your past choices that maybe didn't that you feel shamed about. And in and I think that's why, um, Christianity and the Catholic faith, they have, you confession of sins is just speaking them out loud so they're not like held in your heart and buried and made shameful and closed off, because the more you hold that within you, the more that voice, that saboteur voice, that inner dialogue of lack and distrust and separateness eats you up inside, right? And keeps you more and more disconnected. Whereas once you speak the truth, and again, there's that theme throughout the movie of just speaking your truth, being who you authentically are. Because when you, despite whether you may think it's good or bad, once you release it, it can immediately be illuminated, because nothing can hide in the light. And the more you hold things down and try to block them, it just kind of eats you up inside. And so if the demons or the darkness can keep you thinking you're separate and thinking you should have shame, thinking you should hold it all in and use your free will to separate yourself, then you continue living in this lack loop of suffering. Um, and so part of the healing is just letting it out. It's just being truthful. It's just saying as it is, right? Um, in your authenticity. um, and so let's see. Da-da-da. Yeah, I'm your idol. And the word idol is so interesting to me too, because in the Bible, you know, God says, like, you'll have no idols before me. And so, and what I'm really hearing from this song and seeing throughout the movie is, if you place anything other than God at the center, love at the center, um, that's a falsehood, that's an illusion, that's a disconnection from truth. And so it ultimately leads to unfulfillment, is not sustainable, is not everlasting. And so um yeah, the lyrics go on to say, keep it all, don't let it show, keep it all inside, the pain and the shame, keep it out of sight. So again, hiding who you truly are creates that suffering. Your obsession feeds our connection, because again, the more you feed into that shame, that mind, that feeling, the more it continues. Give me all your attention, because again, a way that you feed energy to something is giving it attention. And so and it's interesting how throughout the movie they are trying to defeat the demons, or the mental, it's almost like they're defeating the mental plane from this illusion of the 3D, right? They're slicing demons, it's this and that. But what ultimately changes and um, allows the demons to fall away and be eliminated, and for them to truly ascend and have peace on earth when the whole thing transforms at the end, isn't them fighting physically in their masculinity, isn't them thinking about it, because that's what we do in the physical world, right? We want to do all the right things, we want to think it away, we want to make sense of it in our mind, but none of that works. If anything, all that attention and focus and energy just feeds it more, and we become more anxious, more depressed, more intrusive thoughts, more burnt out. And the only thing that truly changed at the end, that truly transformed the world at the end, was them just truly being authentically themselves, the resonance of that authenticity, um, and just their harmony, them living in harmony with their truth and revealing all aspects of themselves, shadows, lightness, dark, all of it. Um, dispelling that illusion and reuniting themselves in this wholeness, in this divine union with all that they are, and illuminating their shadows and operating from this harmonic, resonant self. That's what changed the world. And it was almost seemingly effort. They sang a beautiful song and the world was saved, right? And that's true for our own lives. Like it becomes so much easier when we focus inward on ourself, heal from within, illuminate our shadows from within, and operate from this authenticity, this wholeness that then sends out this frequency of harmony, of peace, of joy, of divine love that just resonates out into the field, into all of existence. That truly transforms lives. That truly transforms the world. And it's in the movie. It's so cool. Um, let's see. But yeah, that was, I think, I'm sure there was more. There's so much more I could talk about from this movie, but um yeah, I just thought it was so cool to see it. And again, if you notice this too, or if there's something else that you noticed maybe I didn't talk about, I'd love to hear your comments about it. Um, let's see. Yeah. But again, I just thought it was so fun and I wanted to talk about it today. Um, and maybe next time, if you watch the movie again, you might see it a little bit differently now. Let me know if this resonates, if you have any other ideas or thoughts on the movie, or if it brought up anything else for you. I'd love to hear it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.